Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking out this special episode of Really Dicey. This is Manny.
I'm Matt.
I'm Vender.
Vender is our special guest and contributor for other videos. As we talk about our Kickstarter picks for this month, we're here to celebrate Vander. Congratulations. He actually has a successful Kickstarter right now. Let's just start with yours first.
Yes. As I've seen, and as you know, we normally just suggest a few Kickstarters going on because support artists and their growing, creating passions. And through Records of the Realm, through the people that I work with and the community that I have with D&D, I've started mine too, and it is fully funded, which is also baller. That makes me insanely happy. So thank you guys. It's called Vault of the Ivory Queen. It is the first of a series known as Nisran's Never-Ending Notebook, which will just be a continuation of NPCs, classes, every type of little bit of extra assets that you always need to play with D&D. This one specifically is coming with 3 new subclasses, one for monk if you want an anti-magic monk, a paladin if you want something that's like a grave cleric but a little more paladin-y, and a warlock whose patron is draconic in nature. And then beyond that, we have over 100 magical items that I've made over many years that have gotten adjusted along with spells, feats, all based around my homebrew world Vagari, but easily adaptable to any good old DM who's worth their salt or not worth their salt, or who wants to take a break and not think a lot. Some things that you don't have to think about. And we're making it as digitally accessible as possible, so that way it's easy for people to read, easy for people to download, easy to gift to your players. That way they can get it right then and there, and you can see that look on their face when they get to get a new item and be surprised and amazed by it. Yeah, that's my spiel.
No, sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, moving on to the rest of our goodies. What have you got for us, Manny?
Let's talk a little bit about Kalymba. Kalymba is an African inspired role-playing game. It's totally original, has its own system, and it's a phenomenal looking book. Besides the fact that the art looks fantastic, it's 300 pages. Again, I mentioned inspired by Africa, 10 playable races, 99 new spells, 22 gods, 70 plus creatures, and like 120 new special abilities for your characters. So it's a impressive work. I'm impressed with how much material they were to put in this. And again, it's totally like, it's not a 5e or a Pathfinder source. It's its own rule system. So I'm rooting for them.
Sounds good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, sounds good. So back in December, I think it was, I recommended a set of hand-drawn fantasy maps that were available on Kickstarter. They're all PDFs, and they were all really, really cheap. You get them for just a couple bucks. So the creator there has made some more. Forgotten Past Hollow Adventures. They are hand-drawn black and white fantasy maps. He's also added random adventure tables, homebrewed items, and some NPCs. Like the maps I previously recommended, these are relatively inexpensive. You can get the adventures for $2 or a pound. No, it's €1 actually. Yes, and for €3 or $4, you can get some more adventures, and you can also get the previous maps that I mentioned. I love maps, and I've backed this before, and you should check them out. They're really beautifully well drawn. So, Vander, I know that your project's obviously the most important thing on Kickstarter at the moment, but if you had to pick another project, and you do, so what would that be?
that was the homework. And I'm actually going to pick a Kickstarter. Maybe I'm hoping that it gets backed before it is, but I have a Kickstarter that's not fully backed yet, and I'm really hoping it does. It is called Into the Jungle by Sea Serpent Games. I'm going to just read the intro they have quick. delve deep into the jungle with a source book made for players or DMs who want to add some jungle flair to their games or characters. This book does not have a specific number of pages, but it has 11 plus subclasses, so probably one per class at the very least. Different feats, spells, all of that good old stuff, and a lot of it is related to specifically dealing with times in the jungle. So they're going to have systems made, separate systems, and like charts set up specifically for exploration, survival, and also like disease of normal and magical make, which I personally think is exciting because whenever I get to like screw up my players in a little extra fashion, I take it. But yeah, they've been hitting. They're getting really close to hitting some of the stretch goals too, which I'm excited for because it's like extra feats and stuff like that. But I really want to see them hit that goal because the book, they have a couple details of the book and it looks great. And just the idea behind it. As someone who didn't get to play in Chult at all and who really loves the idea of the Chult setting, like a really solid like foresty jungle campaign. This excites me.
My next one, and it's something that I am surprised that I haven't seen a role-playing game like this one before. It's called Animon Story by Zach Barrow. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. It's so Pokemon, one of the biggest like franchises out there. I don't think there's ever been a role-playing game or anything similar like it, but Animon Story captures the feel of it. The art's very similar. That has that anime style, and it's really made for a younger audience in mind, although it looks like obviously that any age group could play it. It has a fun and easy D6 pool mechanic, very easy character creation system, and it has like tons of helpful guides about creating adventures and campaigns and NPCs. It's pretty much the same idea, similar to Pokemon and Digimon, where you befriend animals and creatures of all sorts, and you go on adventures.
I like dice, as I may have mentioned once or twice before. So my next project that I'm bringing to your attention is called Dice Tomes. So there are 3 different sets of dice, each one packaged in a small box that looks like a book. And each book and dice set is themed around a character type. There are fighting men, right? And then there are rogue type characters. And the third one is for magic users, sorcerers, that sort of thing, wizards. So each book opens up and becomes a dice tray, and each one is decorated like a journal of your particular class. Each tome contains 10 dice and a D2, which is a coin. And they all, each one has a unique symbol for the fighting men and the wizards and the rogues. And they have 3 different dice sets, and they are beautiful and legible and look like a lot of fun. Good way to carry your dice around to different cons and things.
Legible is very important. I'm glad you bring that up. It is
I always
a very
mention
important factor.
Yeah, I think I have some old steampunk dice that I can't read the numbers at all on them. I don't use them ever.
Yeah. I used to collect just anything that was shiny, but now I have to be able to use them as actual dice.
That's right.
And these dice are very pretty and very legible, and they look like to be a lot of fun. So if you like to get specialized dice for that one great character you've got, this would be a great way to carry those around.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Vander, what do you got?
All right, we're on round 3. For my round 3, it is a Kickstarter that I believe has already been backed or fully funded by Appendix N Entertainment, called Creature Collection Part 1. The artwork apparently is inspired by a single artist that the company uses. It's kind of like having her own book, I believe. she, her, or the pronouns, for Evelyn Moreau, I believe is the artist's name. So it's going to be a smaller sized book, a little more compact, but it's going to be a compendium of just creatures that this one artist has made. And I think that's like an awesome thing to be like, hey, we've used your work and we supported your work so much that we just want you to have your own book at this point. And beyond that, there are a couple examples on their page of the creatures. The main one they have is called a sword specter, which looks really cool and I really like. And every time they hit a stretch goal, they add more and more creatures. And at this point, they're at something that I think they said adding petty gods. Now, I don't know a lot about petty gods, but I'm real excited to see what the heck petty gods are. But then they also have like hardcover stretch goals and then backer number stretch goals, which I think they've hit quite a few of them too. But yeah, it's just a really awesome way to support an illustrator that like you've worked with for a while. And the idea of just having like a whole monster manual that's just based off of like a single artist sounds really cool to me.
My last pick for May is called Brindlewood Bay. And this is a really unique game. It's described as Murder, She Wrote meets H.P. Lovecraft. So in this game, you play elderly women who have retired to this small, cozy little town of Brindlewood Bay. In this cozy little town, they have formed a club, and this club investigates mysteries that happen in their little town. And things escalate and get kind of out of control. And this game is powered by the apocalypse, but it uses its own mystery system where even the GM doesn't know the solution of the mystery. So that sounds really cool. The game is set up, each session is set up like a television show. So it's each session is an episode. So it's an intro and you play the game and there's an outro. And I've run games before like that. And I got to say it works really well. And I really like it. The game really tries to enforce the idea that these women have a cozy little club. So you have, each character has cozy activities that they do in the game. So the game, the books, there are two books. The first book is the rules and some mysteries. And the second book is some supplementary rules and some more mysteries. So I'm not exactly sure how this works out, but it seems like there are specific mysteries that they want you to work through. So it doesn't sound like it's super open-ended. I mean, you're playing one of these three women investigating the mysteries in this particular town. But it does seem, at the same time, it does seem to be open-ended enough that the GM doesn't know the answer. So the great thing about all this is I know it sounds a little confusing, but there is a preview. So if you go onto the Kickstarter page, you can download an earlier version of the game and check out the rules and see if you like it. But I think it's fantastic. The idea of playing, elderly women in the game is just fantastic. There are not enough elderly characters in role playing or storytelling in general. My favorite television show is about elderly men in Yorkshire getting up to trouble. So I'm really excited about this game. It looks pretty cool, and the art's fantastic, and it looks like a children's book, really. The art, but you should definitely check it out. Brindlewood Bay.
All right. Well, last but not least, it is Free League's Blade Runner, the role-playing game. Yes, based on the movies, based on popular Philip K. Dick novel. And again, it uses the Year Zero engine, which is very similar to the Alien RPG books, which gives me already the idea that like, can I combine Alien with Blade Runner? Maybe.
Sure.
But just like all their Free Leagues books, I mean, it just looks fantastic. And stay tuned. I'm going to leave it right there. We will be interviewing someone that's worked behind the scenes on this book, and so we can get all the great details about it.
Wow. No, that sounds gret. Great. $1 million.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's one of those stretch goals, a replicant. I mean,
Yeah.
Again, we'll put the links to the description below to all the Kickstarters mentioned, especially Vander's Kickstarter. And again, congratulations.
Thank you.
May this be the beginning of great things for you. And,
all right.
Let's hope.
All right, everyone. Take care. Be safe. We'll see you next time.